Okay. So I saw Abba and Preach just made like a response video to Forever Alone Girl. I think this is an interesting conversation for a couple of reasons. So, first of all, let's talk about Brian Johnson just for like a minute. So Brian Johnson is this tech bro who's basically now tried to optimize immortality. I also thought it was really funny that Emma Chamberlain talked about how like vampire-esque is coming back. I'm gonna make a whole video about that because I agree with that so much. Not the point. I love vampire-esque. I feel like it's kind of a little style chic that will never go out of style. Those of us who are giving vampire, you just know, and like there's, I don't know, it will just always be hot forever. Not the point. So Brian Johnson basically is going on this like complete health kick where he's like changing his like internal organs, his external organs, bringing his body fat down. I think some of you guys who are like morbidly obese or just like fat girls on the apps, all of them, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, um, everybody's just putting cameras. They're doing a whole bunch of shit with like angles and cameras so that, you know, if you are obese, you could look like less obese or something. And I saw something where some like morbidly obese woman got on and she was talking about how some Muslim billionaire's son or something is taking her on a date. I would assume he's fat too. There's a lot of fat people who are like getting together, but also let's just talk about average for a second because that's one thing that seems to be like not simple for some people to understand. Remaining having a healthy lifestyle and like living to 100, though it isn't like extremely difficult, like you do have to veer away from the like extremes. So like if you are depressed, like skinny people are having extreme depression and then they're just not eating at all. Not eating is actually very difficult because your body wants to eat. Overeating is not, it's actually in America it's just not really that difficult, but in the developing world it's very difficult because you don't have enough food. So it's like all the extremes kind of can be like examined at this point, but just staying in the middle and remaining having like a healthy lifestyle where you're like moderately active, you have like enough calories, you're like exerting enough calories, you have like, you know, the right nutrients so that you remain relatively healthy. You're keeping your cholesterol down, your blood pressure, your stress down. But also, let's talk about like social activities and things like work and school. So this woman in the video is talking about how no man, she literally says it. She says, no man has ever treated me with respect or something. Now that seems odd for a couple of reasons. Like, I feel like this woman is in America, and so I would just assume that she's been to like school. So you're saying you've never been in class, in a classroom with students, and where the male students were just like, just decent to you? Like, I understand like little kids, okay, maybe in kindergarten people might have made fun of you because you were fat, but probably by the time you got to like, I don't know, first grade or second grade or something, people have just accepted you as a fat person and like moved on to other characteristic traits. Like when I was a kindergartner, I'm sorry, I was like a really mean, I was kind of a bully a little bit because I was very spoiled and had a lot of like older male cousins, and so like I just wouldn't take shit from like any of the little male kids. Like I was so mean. It was really awful. Like I think I've developed a lot of compassion as an adult because I was so mean as a child. I just wouldn't take shit from anybody. Like if you said it was adults, kids, teachers, anybody, if you gave me shit about anything, you were gonna hear it. Everybody was gonna hear it. I didn't need any adults to advocate for me at all. Like, if anybody takes any of my shit, I would, like, set up booby traps in the classroom. But I was, like, a really good student, so it's like I would never get caught. And it was just, like, the whole thing. And then I had, like, a group of other friends who were also kind of bullies. And so we were just, it was so bad. But then I got confronted by another girl who was even a bigger bully than me. And so that was a whole thing. Anyway, bring bullying back, maybe, like, would be, I do agree with that, the conservatives who continue to say that, because like it feels like this woman is not living in reality. Like clearly she doesn't have a job, or if she does have a job, she's just not doing like the basic social things. Like my coworkers went out like have gone out like a few times. There've been many opportunities to like go out with coworkers. And there's always going to be some male coworkers and some female coworkers. So I don't see how that opportunity is not available for this woman. Like that opportunity is always available. If you are literally that antisocial where like you just aren't in the group, or and I feel like all the like jobs now are so there has to be some sort of club that you could join. Like if you were just being really like, this is like the bare minimum, like you have some sort of hobby, like if it's a sport, even if it's like karaoke, if you go to the same karaoke bar for like 2 weeks, you'll meet people who are like regulars. The same burger bar, they always have like trivia nights and stuff there. There's a million ways where you could just do something pretty simple to like interact with other people in your community, and so you would just get to know them. You could go to the same dinner spot like every night, okay, and just because people know you're a regular, like the servers there would be nice to you, and you'd probably get a male server some points in time, and they would be nice to you. So like that doesn't really make sense, how she's like there's no males in her whole life who've ever been decent to her. Like that's statistically like impossible, because she's like, it seems like she's like at least 20 or something. Like that's statistically impossible. She's probably just trying to compare her own life to the lives of like other people around her, which doesn't make sense, because that's a really big part of being a main character in your life. Like you have to have some sort of like personality, whatever it is that you like or that you're into, and people are going to accept you with that. A part of growing up, you develop that personality. A really big part of like, I think, getting on any of the social apps and just having opinions about something. If it's a television show, if you're into a television show, instead of just having like, you know, how do you say, online discourse about the TV show, just find somebody at your job, online, where you can meet them in person and just go have coffee and talk about the show. Take a walk and talk about the show. That's it. That could be your social event. I don't know. Like, there's got to be like somebody like somewhere that you could have some sort of like very basic discourse with, because also like we have to talk for a second about pretty privilege. It's just like, ugh. So this woman is like literally like morbidly obese. Okay. So now when we're talking about like the beauty hierarchy, she's on the bottom, right? So we can't even talk about like facial beauty or anything yet, because like in terms of like her living health, somebody who gets into a relationship with her knows that she's like predisposed to dying early, so she's cutting the amount of years she's going to be alive in half. So somebody's signing up for that. You know how men always talk, they always walk around now, they always talk about, oh, is she crazy, is she crazy? Well, you'd probably want to also talk about if she's crazy and if she's like morbidly obese, because she like, okay, I don't know how long they think these crazy women are living or are not living, but the morbidly obese ones are dying from heart attacks at alarming rates. So maybe I should talk about that too, because I feel like the crazy ones will still be on here making YouTube videos in 80 years. I'm just saying. Boom. No, I'm just kidding. But well, actually, I'm not. Like that was actually a good point, and I'm giving myself a tap on the back for that one. But no, I had a point to this. Where was I going? Oh, so yeah. So that means that everybody who's just like a normal size, like who can just go to a regular size store, right? Whose BMI is like in the average range, who's not like hyper disposed for diabetes. All men can just go date any of those women. And then there's the women who are like really in shape, the ones who have a low body fat percentage and who exercise a lot, or who are just like model-esque, where all they have are like they're Kim Kardashian thick, where they only have like fat in those, you know, places. So men could like, when men are looking at the most attractive women, all the women are now being judged against her. Like she's a part of the group, right? And then now you have to like take out some, because like some of the men are going to be gay, so then they're not even going to be interested in her. Some men just don't like her bone shape or other things that would make her attractive or not, and they're gonna be like, yeah, you're not my type for all those reasons, right? So there's like a shit ton of reasons already why men would want to date other people. But that doesn't mean that she can't have like a quality life because she doesn't have a romantic relationship. And also, like, I think like a lot of people are just looking for romantic relationships in the wrong places. Like, I feel like before she thinks about getting into a romantic relationship, she needs to be a part of civil society. She probably needs to get a therapist, first of all, because it sounds like there's a lot of self-confidence issues that she's like literally still working through, because those things are inhibiting her from like doing basic shit in the real world, like going out with your coworkers, having friends, having male people in your life that you could just like talk to, like that's pretty basic, like, I gotta say. And I'm a person who's like mean and kind of mean and antisocial, and if I'm sitting here saying that, like, y'all see me here like basically every night coming to tell you about my opinions on shit. This is what I'm doing. I'm here with you guys. Like, so I don't think she could be more antisocial than me. And I'm trying to be better. Okay. Like, I'm actually trying to like branch out and like form more human relationships with people who are not my cats. Right. But you got to start somewhere. I don't know. This woman seems very out of touch with reality to me, and I feel like it's probably symbolic of a lot of people, and that's kind of weird. It's a little bit weird. I just wanted to say that. It's weird.